question, and I rise in support. Statistics from the Department of Veterans Affairs indicate that as many as 1 in 5 women are sexually assaulted while serving in the military. But receiving benefits from the VA remains a challenge. Last year, the Service Women's Action Network, the Yale Law School Veterans Legal Services Clinic, the ACLU, and the ACLU of Connecticut released a report showing that veterans who experience sexual assault have their benefits claims denied more than veterans with other types of PTSD. The report also found the rate of granting these claims varied greatly depending on the particular VA regional office. The St. Paul, Minnesota office granted only 26% of the military sexual trauma claims they received, while the office in Los Angeles granted more than 88% of the claims they received. Anyone who has seen the powerful documentary The Invisible War has anguished along with Corey Chioka. Corey survived a horrific sexual assault while serving and suffered severe injuries to her face and jaw incident to the assault. She waited for years for an answer from the VA on the jaw surgery she needed, but her claim was ultimately and shockingly denied. The VA has a long way to go when it comes to granting benefits for survivors of military sexual trauma. And the Senate provisions in Section 503 of the Senate bill would make sure that Congress is better informed on how the VA is treating military sexual trauma. Section 503 would also address what the VA is doing for male victims of sexual assault. According to the Defense Department, by the numbers, men in the military are more often victims of sexual assault than women. Yesterday, Senator Gillibrand of New York screened a documentary on Capitol Hill called Justice Denied. In it, male victims tell the heart-wrenching stories of being sexually assaulted and too often being ignored by their commands after they reported an attack and isolated by their fellow service members for doing so. We must do a better job, a much better job, of protecting these men and taking care of them after these incidents. The Senate bill allows us to start to do that. Finally, Section 501 expands eligibility for counseling service, which are so often important to people's healing. About 2 years ago, a woman veteran came to my office to talk to me about being sexually assaulted while she was in the military. She hadn't spoken to many people about what had happened to her before, and it was difficult to do so. But she had just come from a summit where she had met a number of survivors just like her who had had similar experiences. This opportunity to meet people with similar stories and share their experiences strengthened her. She was similarly strengthened through counseling and group therapy. She has become more and more comfortable speaking about her story because of the treatment she has received. I've now seen her bravely telling her story to a rapt audience after a screening of The Invisible War. I urge a yes vote on this very important motion that will help improve care for so many former service members. Thank you, and I yield.
Gentleman from Colorado.
Speaker, I continue to reserve the ballot.